let's give this a go. I'm going to start on the worst one on the roof first. It's one over here, and it's I don't know if the video will show up, but it just wants to stay down. It's probably, I'd say maybe 3 to 4 mil deep, and I guess about 20 centimeters wide and about 150 the opposite way. So I've got a really strong point here I can feel, and I've got a funny feeling that the one next to it, which is quite small, has impacted that. Then if I push underneath, the other one wants to come up. If I pushed it hard enough, it would stay up, but with this one, you can hear it just wants to stay down. So the area I'm going to do it in is, it's an odd shape. It's sort of like I guess like a teardrop. So I'm going to start my machine off on pretty low to start with, and we'll just slowly add heat and see how it goes. It's all we can really sort of do. So I've got this ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a dolly. I'm just going to push the dolly up in the middle. I'm going to start on the outer edge. That's what I sort of drew with some chalk just to see where I am. So I want to try and just see if I can get it to stay up, and I'm going to let it naturally cool. I'm going to let it naturally anneal itself. If I quench it, it could suck really hard, so it's better to let it naturally cool on its own. And my aim here is to get it to stay up. That's all I'm trying to do at this point. So I'm going to add a little bit of, it might be too low. So there we go. I'm just putting pressure up in the center of this. I'm just going to let it cool down. And the reason why I'm just doing it around the edge is because that's where it's first collapsing. So the center of it is actually obviously the main part, but it's stopped at that edge for some reason. So I'm going to try and strengthen that up. And I'm going to slowly, instead of doing spirals, I'm just going to do inner circles, slower and slower and slower. And it's actually stayed up just by doing that. Now what I've got to watch out is that it doesn't actually come too high. But if you see now, it's turning tin canny, which is a good sign. It just means that now it's relaxing a bit, and I'm taking some of the stress out of it. So now I'm just going to do one in the middle to get a bit more in, probably about, I'd say 15 mil in from the other circle, and I'm still putting light pressure, but it's just light. It's just keeping it there because it's actually where it wants to be. So just do another little one around, and I felt it suck down then. So I'm gonna hold it there and let it cool. I actually physically felt it suck in, because in theory, when you're using heat, it's for highs. So it wants to suck the high down, which is a good thing, but in this case, I'm trying to give it strength. So I'm pushing up and letting it cool, and it's staying there. I can still see it a bit low here, but as long as I'm getting some strength into it, it's definitely moving in the right direction. You can actually feel the difference in between the two spots of where I just did it. So the middle of this circle here is actually high enough. It's now this outer edge. And this is where I've got to be careful. I've got to make sure that I don't overheat it and make it into a high. But we'll get it with a hammer and dolly if that's the case later in a slapper too. This back edge here, where it gets to the strength at the end, is where it's sucking hardest. It's probably where it's going to need most of the work. So I'm just going to put a little cherry here, right on this edge, and I can see it lifting. It doesn't want to do it now. And the same again, I'm just going to let it naturally cool. And I'm going to do one just up from it too. I'm putting up a bit of pressure. Sort of in a way, I'm also you can't see in the video, but I'm actually spinning my dolly, like pivoting it, just to sort of massage the metal. And it's coming up. Like this part here, I'd say 75% of it's up. It's this back edge now. And this is going to be the whole process. Slow, and just bring it up, and then I can put these ribs in. So now I'm actually putting a little bit more pressure than I did before. I'm doing it in 2 spots. I'm just I'm doing some sort of massaging a little bit. and seeing if it stays. So if it's not tin candy, we're looking good. It's flexing, which is fine because the rest of the roof flexes, but it's not staying down or popping and that sort of thing. It's not, if I push it down, it doesn't stay down. If I push it up, it doesn't stay up. It's flexing back on its own, and that's sort of where we want to be.